Earlier, what we're going to do now is alter the product table, either add a new column or remove the quantity on hand and show you how to bring it back, okay? So let's say we want to remove it and then bring it back. Now we're going to do this in a query, okay? Now I could easily go to the product table, double click on it right here, and go to design mode, right? And just delete this line here and we'll be done. Okay. Like I said before, you may not have access to this interface to alter a table. So the way to do it in as a query is to go ahead and create a new query. So let's go ahead and do that. So let me close the relationship diagram, go to create and go to query design. Okay. Now we already know which table it is, but let me just close here. Right now, as you can see, I'm not including anything. So I'm going to write a SQL statement to actually alter the field that we have there, which is quantity on hand, and drop it. Okay, so we're going to drop that column. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go to the SQL Editor, right here where my mouse is. When I click there, notice by default it gives me a select and semicolon. That's not what we want. Okay, we want to alter, okay, table, and this happens to be product. And for that, we want to drop, for now, column, and we could say that column would be quantity on hand. Let me see how I spelled it. And that would be, yep, capitalized. I like to make sure that I spell everything the same way. Some systems may be case sensitive, some aren't. Okay, and let's put a semicolon here and see if this will do it. So the way to do it, go to design here. Now you will see a run button. So if I click on it, notice no news is good news. Okay. So when I clicked on it, nothing happened. The point here is I didn't get an error message. Let's go to the product this time. And notice now I am missing the column quantity on hand. Now let's say I want to bring it back. Okay? So I want to bring back in a query a new column now since it doesn't exist. And I'm going to go to the query again. And instead of saying drop, you're going to say add. Okay, it is that simple. So you're going to say add. Okay, now when you add, do me one favor, add one more thing to that. It needs to be a data type. Okay, could be an integer, number. So let's see how that works. Let me go to design and click on this. The database engine could not update, so it's already existing. The alter table product, add column quantity on hand, numbers. So let's see what's going on. So let me just go over here. No, it hasn't done it. So let's go back to that query that I'm playing with. Close this table before you do anything. And let's try it again. So I'm going to go to under design, hit run. Okay, good. It worked. The table was open, that's why. So now let's see what happened. I'm going to go to the product. And now I have quantity on hand, as you can see. Okay, that's awesome. So now that I have quantity on hand, notice that the values are all empty. And remember, I created a query that will add values to the right here in this field. So assuming it's all 0 as a default value, let's see if the add product update query will actually add at least 5 items, since that is how we set it up in the previous video. Right, so right now I don't need to run this query anymore, so I can kill it. All right, so I'm going to say close, don't save it. Okay, I have quantity on hand as a field that was created by using a query. Okay, I can close that table now. And I'm going to say yes, change everything. And I'm going to go to add products. So I'm going to double click on this one, and it's going to say you're about to run an update, and I'm going to say yes. And it's going to say it's going to update 20 rows, and I'm going to say yes. Now let's go to the product. That is because I have a problem. It never set it up where we had a 0 here. So we don't know if this was an integer. So let's go ahead and look. So I am going to go over here. It does say it's a number. Okay. Now, maybe I should alter this to be a default value of 0. Okay, maybe it shouldn't be null. And that's probably what the issue is. I should have put a constraint there. So let's save that. And let's look at the values, okay? And as you can see, now I get a 0 right here. I just want to make sure that all previous values will still work. So let me run it again. All I have to do is update the product. And I'm going to say yes. And now let's see what happens to the product. Okay, so these probably needed to be 0 to begin with. And I can go to the update and set it to 0 and then add another value to it. So let's do that. Let's alter the update. So I'm going to close this. So I'm going to go over here and edit it, design view, and I am simply going to put 0 right here, and let's see what happens. So we're going to enter 0, make sure it's a 0 and not a no, and run it. And say yes. Now let's go to the product, and all of them are 0. Perfect. Now let's close this again. I'm going to alter this where now I am going to increment by a certain number. So again, I'm going to go back to the design that I had. I have a couple choices. I could close now and not save what I've just done, which means I'll automatically get back the update to whatever I had written in there. But I can rewrite it right now. So let me just zoom here, show you what I'm going to be doing. And I can zoom right here and type what is it I want it to do. So one is you want the product table dot. Notice here it does not necessarily work the same way if I did product. Okay, it's a lot better here. It's much more interactive. And I'm going to click dot. Oops. Product. I should have selected what I saw there. Product. Let me try it again. There you go. Select it. Dot. Quantity on hand. Plus 5. Okay, so whatever was in there, we're going to add 5 to it. So let's see how this works. So I'm going to go to design, run, and I'm going to say yes. Now let's see what the product is going to do. And there you have it. So the lesson out of this is you needed a default value, an initial value at least of 0. So just creating a field does not necessarily, even though it's a number, even though it's an integer, does not necessarily mean that you had a value in it to begin with. Okay, and we discovered that with the update query, it was not able to update these fields because these fields were null. They were not even 0. Okay, so I hope you learned a lot in terms of the behavior of how these fields' properties are set and what you can do with your queries to make sure that they're running properly. Okay, so for the next videos, we're going to look at more queries related this time to the data in our database. And basically, we will craft some queries that will make sense of the data we have in the database.